Dear Pixie, you asked us, can spirits or souls transfer from one body to another without the death of the physical body? Can a soul leave a physical body and be replaced by another soul? Can a soul share two bodies or more at the same time? Do twin flames share the same soul? Can a soul completely leave a physical body? And if so, can it ever return? We would start by saying, within the highest truth of reality, that there is only one soul. This soul is shared by all, and each aspect of the one original soul is an exact replica or copy of the original soul. From this perspective, no soul ever leaves anywhere or moves from one place to another, for the one soul is in all places and in all things. Yet we are aware you ask your question on a linear level, therefore we shall respond from the more linear perspective. The spirit, being an entity in itself and totally separate from the physical body essence, may enter or merge with a physical entity, depending on the situation and the permissions. This spirit entity may then leave and then merge with another physical entity. This is perceiving the spirit as an individualized consciousness, a tulpa, or an esoteric playback, as in a repeating shadow or echo. Yet this is not the same as the individualized soul. The soul, on an individual level and from the linear perspective, can be viewed as a matrix. This matrix is an individualized consciousness structure and can exist without a physical body. Yet it individualizes through the great learning and growth and expansion afforded by experiencing the physical reality in a physical incarnation or series of incarnations. This soul or matrix can experience whatever it needs to experience in order to facilitate the learning, growth, and expansion it needs, within permissions and etiquette. This can include leaving a body, if you will, and another soul or matrix taking its place. Yet in truth, as we have said, there is only one soul or matrix. Therefore, the new matrix that steps into the physical aspect is simply just a changed form, a different set of codes, if you will. The living essence, the soul, never really leaves a physical body. Yet a complete change or swap can be perceived, causing great confusion and challenge, or great expansion and awareness. This would be known to many of you as a walk-in. Therefore, the response to your question, can a soul leave a physical body and be replaced by another soul, would be both yes and no, depending on perspective. In the case of a soul leaving one body and entering the body of another, on a linear level, you speak here of that which we would call soul transfer. This, in our experience of the linear third-dimensional physical Earth, has been done by advanced adepts on a temporary basis only. This has occurred for longer periods within other planetary systems, yet a different method is used. On your planet, this is a form of deep concentration and focus, and a temporary switch has been achieved in rare cases. In the case of what appears to be spontaneous soul transfer, it is more appropriate to refer to this type of switch as a walk-in. It is therefore correct that an individual may perceive the loss of their own soul, or the coming in or replacement with a new soul. In truth, this is not a loss. In truth, the soul or matrix aspect does not withdraw, but it can be triggered to change form entirely. Let us explain this further. If one were to imagine a container of water with a small hole at the bottom of the container, the water would slowly drip out of the small hole. At the same time, imagine new water being poured into the container to compensate for the loss of water that drips through the small hole. Eventually, the entire container will be filled with new water, if you will. This is exactly what happens to every individual who takes a conscious spiritual path in life. Ascension, expansion, and enlightenment all lead to this renewal of self. Yet it is not water, but light, information, and intelligence of the divine soul matrix that is renewed within the container that is you. This is the way it is for all beings within balance and flow. In the case of the walk-in, the same renewal occurs, yet it occurs at once rather than gradually. Imagine the entire container of water being poured away and new water being poured into the container immediately. This is fast tracking into the higher self aspect, and when processed in balance, this can lead to great expansion for that soul. Many of those who have experienced these walk-in situations are the masters and leaders and teachers amongst you. For other individuals, this can be a confusing and most challenging experience, leading to fragmentation and disassociation. Yet the second reaction is much more rare upon your planet, given the high vibrational state your planet is in now, and the abundance of help available to these walk-in individuals. We would suggest to anyone experiencing the confusion of the walk-in experience to look for soul integration teachers and healers. These teachers and healers will use various methods in order to facilitate the integration you are looking for. This may take the place of hypnosis, regression techniques, inner child work, trauma therapies, and many other types of work leading to soul integration, an integrated state of balance. Therefore, from the perspective of the healing and integration, the soul indeed can come back, if you will. As in truth, as we have already stated, it does not really leave, just changes, shifts, or renews. It is memory that is affected when these soul transfer or walk-in situations take place. One may lose memory of the person before and have new memories of another person. Indeed, perceiving one soul leaving and another entering your physical body. You may feel as though your original soul is lost somewhere. In truth, the matrix codes have shifted, presenting a new geometry. The presentation is usually of a parallel or quantum aspect of self, and sometimes of a future or higher aspect. There will be those who suddenly know the secrets of the universe, or who start channeling immediately. This is due to the instantaneous changing codes within the matrix, switching into the higher dimensional or future aspect of self. As we have said, this occurs with all who walk the spiritual path of ascension and enlightenment. It just occurs slowly and not instantaneously. We could therefore quite truthfully say that all starseeds are also walk-ins from that perspective. The instantaneous walk-in experience can be triggered by sudden trauma, accidents, illness, abuse, shock, and similar types of triggers that create rapid, fast-track, instantaneous, and spontaneous matrix code unlocking and change. You ask us, can a soul share 2 or more bodies simultaneously? There are many perspectives to this. From the truest perspective, one soul is shared by all bodies. From a 6th dimensional perspective, We have oversouls and group souls that can be individualized matrix constructs shared by 3, 7, 9, or 12 incarnated beings simultaneously. These other aspects would be referred to as members of your soul group, soulmates, twin souls, or twin flames. That in itself is a very expansive topic. But know that each aspect, even whilst they share a sixth dimensional group soul oversoul, they are still individualized beings holding their own individualized free will matrix aspects. Yet from a linear perspective only, there are rare cases where one soul, one matrix, is shared by two physical individuals, both incarnated at the same time. This can occur in what we call quantum overlap. This is where one soul wants to incarnate within its next life, if you will, into a soul that has already been born before its own physical death. Therefore, the permissions are allowed for the soul to remain within one physical body and simultaneously be born into another body. This would be a situation where one soul is nearing the end of its life and the new soul would be a babe, infant, or young child. This is a challenge for the physical beings involved, for they will have some awareness of one another. The individualization in this case will not be fully separate, but will be shared. Therefore, free will can be affected somewhat, and it is for this reason that permissions for this type of quantum overlap are granted only in rare and exceptional cases. Another linear perspective where one soul is shared by two bodies simultaneously is the case of some mother-daughter or father-son or identical twin pairings. The reflection and mirroring that takes place here is profound, bringing much learning to the two involved. This, again, has been most rare on your planet, yet in recent years is much more common due to the starseed incarnations, as they are much more able to learn quickly from these intense pairings, and often they are needed as catalysts and triggers for them. Contrary to that which many of you believe, the twin flame romantic pairing is not the sharing of one soul in the same way as the mother-daughter, father-son, or identical twin pairing is. Indeed, the twin flame is the intense reflection, but they do not share the same soul on a linear level, although they may well share the sixth dimensional matrix group soul oversoul construct. As we have said, this is a most expansive subject, and this will be discussed by us within another transmission through our conduit in divine timing, as twin flame awareness reaches critical mass. You asked us the question, can a soul ever return to a body it has left? What you are asking here is, can the original codes of the matrix reset in the form they were before? Can the memories and emotions of that form return? The answer to this is yes, and it is akin to a reset point upon a computer device. We speak here of a reset point, restore point, or save point upon a computer device. However, this process takes work and commitment, and even with the restoring of the original matrix formation, the matrix will not be fully the same, as expansion and learning will have taken place. It is possible to retrieve the original codes and keep the new codes simultaneously, if you will. When searching for the healing and supportive work to this process, be aware that soul fragmentation or retrieving of lost pieces of your soul are metaphor only. The soul may switch off codons and regroup within its geometric formation, yet nothing is ever truly lost or found. One is simply reprogramming the matrix field. This brings us to a final question you did not ask, and that is, what is the soul or matrix in the first place? We would respond by saying, it is the DNA. It is the coded information that lives within your physical self at the cellular level, and therefore one can see that it is never lost or never leaves you from that perspective. Therefore, memory work, DNA activation work, meditation with light body, Merkaba activations, and similar work and therapies can all assist in the regrouping of the original codes, leading to balance and integration of the matrix fields, the DNA. We will leave you now with the reminder that you are all one soul, one beautiful and perfectly formed source matrix that is whole, complete, intact, balanced, and infinite. We are the white-winged collective consciousness of 9. What is the matrix? Who are the masters? I, Magenta Pixie, am so very pleased to present my first book, channeled from my guidance system that I refer to as the white-winged collective consciousness of 9. Discover the true story of our origins as an energy system, how we lost the original template for our destiny, and how we are now in the process of remembering those lost codes. Learn how humanity may reclaim the sovereignty which is rightfully ours, bringing us back into wholeness, integration, and full understanding of who we are, why we are here, and what we are here to do. Spirituality, metaphysics, and science merge, as the sacred geometry, known as the language of light, is downloaded and decoded. The realization and activation of these ancient codes for a new dawn of man is an alchemical process available to us all. Now is the time that collectively we move forward into a fully conscious ascension and embrace the new archetype of Master of the Matrix.